Alright ladies, what would a secure woman do when an avoidant man is pulling away? Because the reality is that the moment a man creates distance, many women immediately assume one of two things. Either he's losing interest or he is an avoidant. And while avoidance does exist, many people online throw that word around without really understanding what it means. And that creates a lot of confusion for all of you. Because when a man pulls away, you may react in ways that actually make the situation worse. And all of it because you're simply trying to fix the connection. But a secure woman approaches this situation very differently. She understands what's actually happening beneath that behavior. And more importantly, she knows how to respond in a way that protects both the relationship and her self-respect. My name is Ismael Gomez and I coach intentional women to attract secure relationships with men. And before we start, I just want to say thank you to everyone who congratulated my fiance and me on our engagement post that I shared this week. I really appreciate all the kind messages. It was very sweet to read all the things that you ladies posted. Okay, so let's begin. Number 1, avoidant versus low interest. In my coaching, one mistake that I see many accomplished women make is assuming that every man who pulls away is avoidant. And if you don't know the difference between avoidant behavior and simple lack of interest, you can easily waste months trying to understand someone who was never invested in the first place. So low interest usually shows up early. The effort is minimal from the start. He might reply to you, but he barely initiates. He keeps conversations surface level and he avoids making real plans. Basically, the connection never really builds momentum. Avoidant behavior is going to look different. An avoidant man often, he shows up genuine interest in the beginning, but as the emotional closeness increases, something is going to shift. Communication is going to slow down and he's going to become distant, not because he suddenly stopped liking you, but because intimacy triggers discomfort for him. Now there's another layer that can make this even more confusing, and that is love bombing. Some men also invest heavily at the beginning and then they're going to disappear. And the key difference here is pace. Love bombing is going to create immediate intensity. The connection is going to go from 0 to 100 in a very short time. Avoidant dynamics usually develop more gradually. Another difference is what the pullback looks like. A love bomber is usually going to disappear abruptly once the excitement fades. An avoidant person often looks internally conflicted. They may still care about the connection, but they feel overwhelmed by closeness. This is why a secure woman doesn't rush to label someone avoidant just because you saw a few videos online talking about it, especially when a lot of the content about attachment theory oversimplifies what's actually happening. Number 2, you understand the pullback is not random. A secure woman doesn't immediately panic when a man pulls away. Instead, she pauses and she asks a more important question. What pattern is actually happening here? Again, because with avoidant partners, distance often appears at a very specific moment in the relationship. It doesn't usually happen at the beginning. It happens when emotional intimacy increases. For someone with an avoidant attachment, closeness doesn't always feel safe. It can trigger an unconscious fear of dependency, vulnerability, or even abandonment. So their system reacts by doing what it learned to do a long time ago: create distance. They might respond slower and they might suddenly seem distracted or busy. To someone unfamiliar with attachment dynamics, this behavior is going to look so confusing. It's going to feel like the connection is fading, but in many cases, that pullback is not about losing interest, it's about regulating internal stress. When emotional intensity rises, avoidant men often need space to calm their nervous system and to regain a sense of control. That's why their first instinct is usually to step back rather than leaning in. So as a secure woman, don't immediately react with panic, accusations, or emotional pressure, because reacting this way often creates the exact dynamic that makes the avoidant partner withdraw even further. Number 3, you don't take it personally. When an avoidant man pulls away, the easiest thing to do is take it personally. Okay, your mind is going to start filling in the blanks. Did I say something wrong? Did I become too much? did he suddenly lose interest? But a secure woman understands something important about avoidant attachment, and that is that for all of these individuals, for all of these men, emotional distance is a coping mechanism that developed way before he met you. Now, that does not mean that you excuse unhealthy behavior or you tolerate endless distance, but it does mean that you don't immediately turn that withdrawal into a judgment about your worth. You don't go into thoughts like, I'm not enough, he must not care about me, because those interpretations may feel natural, but they often miss what's really happening. And this is something that I always preach to all of you ladies, right? That understand that your worth does not fluctuate based on someone else's ability to handle closeness. And when you don't take the pullback personally, you avoid reacting in ways that escalate the situation. You stay calm, observant, and emotionally steady. Number 4, you communicate directly, not emotionally. When distance shows up, many of you ladies react immediately, okay? You start sending messages like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you acting weird all of a sudden? But when you address things calmly and clearly, the tone of the conversation is going to change. So let me give you a few examples that have worked very well with my clients. Hey, I've noticed you seemed a bit busier lately. Hope you're getting some time to recharge. And again, depending on the context, you can send one that is even more direct, and it can say something like this. If you need some space right now, that's completely fine. I just like keeping things clear between us. So notice the difference in tone. There's no accusation, there's no emotional pressure, and there's no attempt to force closeness. And this can be said in a text message, it can be said verbally, but what matters is that the avoidant person is not going to withdraw because they don't feel overwhelmed or pressured. When communication stays calm and direct, it gives them space to explain what's happening without feeling attacked. But it also does something equally important. It's going to protect your self-respect, because communicating clearly is not about chasing someone or convincing them to stay close. It's about creating clarity in the relationship. And final, number 5, you set a boundary if the pattern continues. Giving someone space is one thing, but if the distance becomes a pattern, then your response also changes. You communicate a boundary. For example, you can say, I understand that you may need space sometimes, but for me, consistent communication is important in a relationship. Or more directly, you can also say, it seems like we may want different things in a relationship, and I'm looking for someone who can show up emotionally. And again, this is not said with anger or resentment, it is said with calm clarity. Because boundaries are not about pushing someone, they're about protecting your emotional well-being. But the most important thing about all of this, okay, from this video, and listen carefully ladies, okay, is that you don't say these things hoping that it's going to make him come closer. You say it because you genuinely believe that this is your standard and your boundary. Because men can feel the difference, okay? They know when you're speaking from conviction or when you're just repeating something that Ismael told you in a video. So these boundaries cannot just be words that you say in the moment, they have to be beliefs that you already decided on. Alright ladies, so that's the video for today. And again, I want to thank everyone who congratulated my fiance and me on our engagement this week. And of course, the internet wouldn't be the internet without a few interesting comments. One person said that my fiance looked young, simple, compliant, and ready to be controlled by a know-it-all, which honestly made me laugh because if you know anything about Latinas, especially Cuban women, you know that that's definitely not how things work at home, okay? But jokes aside, I truly appreciate, all of you that left some really sweet comments and you keep supporting the channel, and remember that for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.